Good morning, boys and girls. It's Tuesday, May 5th. It is day 30 of our Learning at Home days. I hope that you're ready for a great day with your family, and I'm so thankful for all the work that you're going to accomplish today. Let's begin with prayer. Would you pray with me, please? Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful spring day. Thank you for all the signs that you have blessed us with that show us that you are our God and that you know everything about us. Thank you, Lord, for the Bible, for your word, and all that we have learned and all that we have still to learn about you. Father, we love you, and we're thankful, Lord, that you have given each one of us good health and this day where we can learn and play at home together. Father, I thank you for the children. Thank you for the ways that they are pitching in and helping out at home. Thank you for their hard work at getting along with others in their family. Help them to have respectful and kind hearts and words with each other. Father, thank you for just time to play and time to be adventuresome in learning new things. Father, I pray that you'll bless each one of the children, help them to hide their friends in their hearts, and to just have happy thoughts about each one and be praying for each other. We love you, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so let's get started on our day today. So today is Tuesday. What do we usually do on Tuesday? We start our day with chapel. Maybe you have some praise songs that you can sing and worship the Lord. Do you have to have music to be able to sing? No, we can just sing, can't we? What about praying? Do you have to sit down and fold your hands and sit still to pray? No, we can talk to God anytime, just like we talk to one another. And what about Bible story time? Have you been reading some really good Bible stories or devotions in your family? I've heard about how some of you have been doing just that. That's wonderful, boys and girls, hiding God's word in our heart. So today, let's begin with our review. Do you see up on the whiteboard, Mrs. Webster put some of our words that we love to read quickly and fluently, both short and long vowel words. And then let's talk about these little red words that you see up on the board too. Those are a few of our rhyming words. We're going to just practice a little bit about rhyming today. Okay, let's get started. So let's start with the short vowel list. I'm sure that you can read these short vowel words lickety-split, that you're going to be awesome readers for your families. Here we go. Show them how good you can do this. Ready? Here we go. Lit-id. Good job. Ca-an. Nicely done. Pa-up. Very good. And finally, ra-ub. Let's read all four words lickety-split. Are you ready to read? Pat yourselves on the back. Nice job. I'll read them with you this time. Ready? Here we go. Lid, can, pup, rub. Do any of those words rhyme? No, not yet. Those are not our rhyming words, are they? I do see two words that have the sound though, but their end sound is different, so it won't work there. All right, let's go down our long vowel list. Remember, the long vowels say their names. They don't say I, ah, eh, ah, or They say A, E, I, O, U. Why is Mrs. Webster doing this, Mark? Because it's the long sound, isn't it? How do we know if a vowel says the long sound? Two vowels in a word make it the long sound. Here we go. Are you ready? Bite, bite. Leak, leak. Cube, cube. Save, save. Let's read these words lickety-split. Are you ready? May I read them with you? Here we go. Let's do it again. Bite, leak, cube, save. Do you remember how to draw a cube? I know some of you do. Maybe you'd like to show your families how you can draw a three-dimensional shape called a cube. I know you're experts at it. Okay, let's move along and let's look at these words. In one row, there are two words that rhyme and one word that does not. Can you see these words and say them with me, please? Cub, jug, tub. Which two of those words are our rhyming words? I tried to get a little bit tricky for you today because you've gotten so smart. Which two would be the rhyming two? Did you say these two? Let's try it. Cub, jug. Does that rhyme? What about these two? Let's try this combination. Jug, tub. Do those two rhyme? What do you think? Okay, the last combination would be these two words. Let's try those. Cub, tub. Which are the two rhyming words? Did you say that jug is the word we need to take off and that cub rhymes with tub? You're right. Let's put these two words closer together because those two are our rhyming words. What is it, boys and girls, that makes them rhyme? Do you remember? The vowel sound and the end sound. Good job. Not just the vowel, but the vowel sound with the end sound is what makes it rhyme. This one that we took off the board had a U, had the short vowel sound, but it doesn't rhyme because the end sound was different. Good job. Okay, let's try the next pair. Are you ready? I bet you could hear that one quick as a wink. Okay, let's read them together. Ready? Red, pet, wet. Which are the two rhyming words? Do you know? I think you heard it because they were right next door to each other, weren't they? Pet and wet rhyme. Red has a different end sound, so it makes it not a rhyming word. Yes, it does have short E, as in elephant, but it doesn't rhyme, does it? No, it doesn't because the end sound is different. All right, so those are our two words that we tried, but they didn't make sense. They did not rhyme. Good reading today. I'm going to give you a hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for doing this activity with me. Let's move on to our Star of the Day sentences. Now, as you know, Mrs. Webster's been writing them because you're not here to write them with me. But I've been choosing some of the news that I've heard about you. Some of your families have told me, or they've sent me pictures, or you yourself have gotten to tell me. I love it when you give me news. So this sentence is about one of our friends. What's her name? Faith, that's right. Looking at Faith's sentence, do you see another word in Faith's sentence that has a capital letter? Did you see it? That's right, this word at the end right here, but this is actually the end of the sentence because there's the period. But that word right there has a capital letter, so we know that it must be a name of something. It could be a person, a pet, a special place, a holiday. What is this word? Do you know? Coda. Coda. Who's Coda? Do you remember who Faith has, whose name is Coda? Her brother, that's right. Her brother that we know because he's one of our students at Christian Elementary School. Do you remember how many brothers and sisters Faith has? She has a big family, doesn't she? All right, let's read Faith's sentence and hear what her news is about her brother Coda. Are you ready? Here we go. Faith hangs. What does she do? She hangs out. Ow. Remember that special sound? Ow in out. So if we wanted to, children, we could circle the special sound for ow. Out. Out with, there's another special sound at the end of that word, isn't there? And thick. Faith hangs out with Coda. Who is Coda? Her big brother. Brother has a lot of special sounds, doesn't it? All right, let's read the whole sentence fluently. This is something that Faith told me. She and Coda like hanging out together some of the times during the day. It's nice that they have each other to hang out with. Here we go. Faith hangs out with Coda, her big brother. Nice job. Faith, I'm sure that you're enjoying these special times that you get to hang out with your brother. It's nice that you guys are good friends. You're not just brother and sister, are you? You're good friends. That blesses your family. Okay, let's go on. I think I have another sentence to read. Let's see who this sentence is about. Do you see a name that you recognize? This is a sentence about our friend Braden. Good job. Braden has sent me so many pictures and I've heard a lot of news about him. But this is something that I saw recently. Let's read it together. Braden builds, this is a memory word, a cool Lego. I saw a Lego that Braden designed and built probably by himself. It was pretty spectacular. How many of you like to build with Legos? Some of you like to follow the directions in the direction book, and then I've heard you take it apart and you build your own. That's what Braden did, I think. He built his very own design. It was quite a cool Lego. I'm glad that you've had time, Braden, to enjoy your Legos at home. Let's read Braden's sentence fluently. You ready? Here we go. Braden builds a cool Lego. Cool. Now, does that cool mean it's cold outside? Or does it mean awesome? I bet you know. Sometimes words can have different meanings, can't they? Cool could be my popsicle is cool, or it's cold. Or it could mean it's really awesome and neat, and I love it a lot. Cool could be two different meanings. That's right. Sometimes words are like that, aren't they? So by reading the sentence, we can tell that this word cool doesn't mean cold. It's so cold. It's not a cold Lego, is it? It doesn't mean that. No, it means it's awesome Lego. So, boys and girls, when you're reading, that's why reading fluently is important. So you can tell what the meaning is of every word in your sentence. Let's read his sentence one more time fluently. Ready? Here we go. I bet you could read it quickly and fluently. Let's move on. I think I have one more sentence for us today, and it might be a sentence about you. Let's check it out. Mrs. Webster doesn't even always remember who I put up. Oh, I recognize that name, do you? It's one of our girls whose name begins with a capital L. That's right. Who is it? London. Hey, look at her sentence. Do you see in London's sentence that there's a second word that has a capital letter? That's right here. Did you see this? Now, let's think about London for a minute and look at that word. Maybe look at this part of the word. Can you read that part? Pen. That's right. It says pen. So what do you think the whole rest of the word says? Think about London and think about what she's talked about in class before. Penny, her dog. That's right. Even though it's a dog, it's still the dog's name, boys and girls, so it starts with a capital P. Well, London and her family did something super fun, and they were able to send a picture of London doing it with her dog Penny. Check it out. Can you read most of this word, this sentence? I see this word has two special sounds, pull and plain and A and pray. So put those sounds together and the word is play. Good reading. Okay, here we go. Ready? London, and there's a memory word or a sight word, penny, play. Where are they playing? At a river. Hey, there's a special sound, in verse. Our new special sounds that we have been learning. ER says Good job. Let's read it again fluently. London and Penny play at a river. That's right. They even had like a beach that they could go on that had sand. In fact, London called it the beach because there was some sand or dirt and then this beautiful river that they sent me a picture of. London and her family went down to the river and they were splashing, she said, and playing in the river. Sounds like a fun way to enjoy some time at home. They're not actually at home though. They're at Grandma and Grandpa's house, aren't they? All right, so reading today. Let's check out our words that we're going to be learning today. Today, Mrs. Webster has a new sight word for you. But the funny thing about this sight word is it's not really one that you have to just memorize because you can read it easy peasy. It's a short O word, isn't it? The word says not. Not. This is a word we could use our phonics skills and blend. Read it again. Not. Can you put not in a sentence? Good job. It is not Sunday. It is Tuesday. Good job. Okay, let's read all our memory words. Are you ready? Can you read with me, please? Here we go. I'll try to keep up with you. Okay, here we go. Come. Said. Can. See. You. the, me. It, and, was and in the sentence about London? London and Penny. Good job. Good job. We don't say a, do we? A is not the word. Is the word. 2. In is down, run, we, help, up, go. Did you beat me? I bet you did. You're so good at reading. And these words are super important because as we're reading a story or reading a book and we see those words, it helps us read fluently when we can just read them. What about writing them? When you write those words in your special book that you're making, School at Home, are you able to think about what those sight words look like and just write them? Good. That's why we've been practicing those. Well, speaking of our School at Home book, Mrs. Webster did one of our pages, and you know what? I'm noticing that we're to the end of our book, aren't we? We have room for one more picture if we've been doing one a day. So check out mine today. I did it about you. My sentence says this. Do you recognize who that is? Yeah, Mr. Big Tooth. Listen to what it says. Many boys and girls have a new window. What about you? I've been so surprised at how many of you have a brand new window since we've been learning at home. I can think of lots of you. Neil, you've lost a bunch of teeth, haven't you? Bella is getting a new tooth growing in. What about Madison? And let me think. Who else? Madison, Gia. We saw Gia's. Corbin lost a tooth. I know about Corbin's. Did I say everyone? We have just had so many of our friends that have lost a tooth. So if you were in kindergarten, you would sign Mr. Big Tooth, wouldn't you? Well, I drew Mr. Big Tooth because I am celebrating you, those of you that have lost a tooth and have a new window. All right, looking at the whiteboard, I have 2 sentences about a boy named Tom. There's a missing word for each sentence. Now, these words today are getting a little bit more challenging if you haven't been keeping up with our new special sounds. If you've been working on our new special sounds along with me, then I'm sure this is going to be easy for you to figure out. So on our phonics paper today, children, you're going to see 2 sentences and 2 missing words. Well, it's a little bit like a story, only 2 sentences long. So one word fits well in the first sentence, and the second word fits well in the second sentence, and you'll be able to figure it out. There are no pictures, though, to give you much of a clue. Look, no real pictures that go with each one. You have to be able to read and think about what you're reading, not just read. You have to think, what does that sentence mean? So let's begin with my purple sentence. Can you read this sentence with me? Tom went on a, there's our special sound R in stars. Let me circle it. Maybe that will help you read it. R, car, or here's a special sound word, in train, it. All right, let's try it. Tom went on a car. Let's try this one. Tom went on a trip. Thumbs up. I think trip goes in that sentence. So I'm going to grab my purple marker and finish the word and finish the sentence with the word trip. I'm going to draw one line through it so I know that I've used it. Now let's read it again and see if it makes sense. Tom went on a trip. Yeah, that sounds good. I don't have a picture of him going on the trip, but by reading it, I can understand which word makes the best sense. Let's go to the blue sentence. He rode in a... Does car make the best sense? Sure it does. So I'm going to draw the word car and make one line through the word car. All right, let's try the whole story. Tom went on a trip. He rode in a car. That makes the best sense. So today on your pages, children, you're doing page 210. Would you do exactly what Mrs. Webster did and practice? Your words are above the sentences in little ovals. Practice which sentence needs which word. Cross it out after you've printed it neatly on the line. I don't think you'll have any problem with that. Please read your words and sentences by yourself. If you've finished and you want dad or mom or some other adult to check your work and say, could you read this and see if it makes sense, Mommy? That's fine, but don't ask Mommy to read the words to you. What can you do if you can't read a word? Give up? Get frustrated? No, that's not what my kindergartners would do. You would mark the vowels, circle the special sounds, and use your skills. You can do it. I'm proud of you. All right, so one page, please, for phonics today, and one more picture in your School at Home book. I cannot wait to see these. I'm so excited to get to see what you've been drawing at home. All right, moving on, today we're going to go and look at our math. Did you look at the whiteboard? There were a few things on the whiteboard that have to do with our math paper today. So let's check out this activity first. So I'm looking at this rectangle and I'm looking at this rectangle. They've both been divided somehow, so they could be shared. For instance, if this was a brownie, would this be sharing equally with someone? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Which way? Is that equal? Is it fair? Or if this one was being divided with others, is it equal? Is it fair? Would you circle the one that is equal, that has it divided fairly? Would you circle this one? No, this friend would get way more than this friend. What about this one? Yes, there would be 4 friends that could have a piece, but it would be divided equally. This one is not equally divided, is it? Let's move on to this. Pretending this was a cheese pizza, how many equal pieces is this pizza divided into? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, Mrs. Webster did the best I could to draw it. Your paper looks even better. But this pizza is divided into 8 equal slices or pieces. All right? You'll be doing things like that on your math paper today. I'm sure you're going to find this to be quite simple. Moving on to our next math, we're going to talk about add-ins and sums. Today, the number sentence has the sum first. 6 equals, how many green Lincoln cubes are there? 2, you say? That's right. There are 2 Lincoln cubes that are the first add-in. How many Lincoln cubes are red? 4. That's right. So 6 equals 2 plus 4. You'll be doing similar math problems today on your paper. This is just Cheddar's little checkup. He wants to see, did you learn all the things that you should have learned in kindergarten this year? This is like a little bit of a test or a checkup to see how well you're doing. Before I show you your math paper though, let's read our number words. This is one of the skills that we have learned in kindergarten. Can you read these numbers? You could read every single one. Be sure that if you're stuck on any of those, that you have Mommy or Daddy write them down on a piece of paper or a little 3x5 card and practice them at home. Can you do that for me, please? We need to know how to read our number words this year, just like we learned to read our color words at the beginning of the year. We have practiced all of these, haven't we? I know you're good at it. Some of them are able to be blended. You can blend some of these, but some of them you can't. You have to just know them, like 8. I'm thinking of 8. All right, let's move on to see what our math paper looks like. So there's Cheddar, and Cheddar is holding up a piece of paper. Maybe he's going to divide it or something, but he wants us to look at the directions, and it says to circle any of these that are divided in equal parts. It doesn't say 1 equal part or 2 or 3 or whatever. It just says equal parts. Could you share it with someone fairly and equally? Share it with 1 person or 2 people or 3 people. That part doesn't matter how many parts. Only is it equal. So let's take a peek at this. This looks like Jersey Mike sandwich or a Subway sandwich, or maybe a sandwich your families can make on a big bun like that and divide it up between you. Is this sandwich divided equally for 3 people? I think so too. Thumbs up. So we would circle that one. Let's look at, how about this one? Looks like apple pie to me. That would be something fun to make at home. Have you ever made a pie? Yummy. Well, let's think about this apple pie. Is it divided equally? Could 2 people share this pie equally? Yes, there are 2 parts to this one. Circle it because it is divided equally. Okay, do the whole page. I'm sure that will not be difficult for you. Turn your paper over. Here's a game board. I'm thinking about the days that we play games. Remember our tic-tac-toe that we play when we do round table activities and all those fun tubbies that we work in? Some of you get out the tic-tac-toe game, don't you? How many parts is the tic-tac-toe game on this paper with cheddar divided? Write down that number. That game has how many equal parts? All right, now let's look at the spinner. Sometimes we have games that we have to spin the spinner, don't we? And how many equal parts is this spinner divided into? Write that number on your line. And then finally, boys and girls, these are all sums of 5, aren't they? But they're different ways that you can come up with 5. 1 plus 4. 2 plus 3, and so on. Can you figure out what the add-ins would be? And write those numbers, please. You'll do great, I'm sure of it. All right, let's move on to our number practice page today. Today for our number practice page, we're starting at 10 in our second column on page 113. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Do you wonder why we keep practicing our numbers, or do you know the answer? I bet you know the answer because we've talked about this many times. The more we practice, the better we are at it. The more we practice, the neater we're hopefully getting. And also, it cements those numbers in our brain. So we're ready for first grade. I'm proud of you, boys and girls. Keep up the great work. We're almost finished with our number pages, and I'm super proud of you. All right, let's move on to our Bible story today. Today, Marcus and Miranda, remember, have encouraged us in this month of May to think back on all the character qualities that Marcus and Miranda taught us so that we would grow up to live and work and play the Bible way, God's way. So if we've asked Jesus into our hearts, Jesus wants us to work on some of these things. One of the first things we learned was working on obedience. Let's say the character quality up here. It says, the happy way is to obey. That's right. Do you remember the story of Marcus when he went into his brother's room, Mitch, and he took something out of his room that Mitch said, don't go in my room, Marcus, I don't want it ruined. What was it? Do you remember? That's right. Mitch had a butterfly collection. He had been working all summer months, all those months, to put together all the different kinds of butterflies that he could find. And he had a collection of them. Did Marcus obey his big brother and stay out of his room? Or did he go in his room and take it out to the baseball field to show his friends how cool it was and then trip and ruin the collection? He learned the hard way how hurtful it was to Mitch that he didn't obey him. And his mom and dad used that problem that happened between the two boys to teach them both the importance of obedience. I'm also thinking of the Bible story that we learned way in the beginning of the year, where even the winds and the waves obey God. That's right, I have a picture of it. Do you remember this picture? Where Jesus had been teaching and he was exhausted, and he had been telling all the people in the town about God and how much God loved them. And he asked his disciples, take me out on the Sea of Galilee so I can rest and I can get away from the crowds. I love preaching, but my body is weak and I need rest. And so Jesus climbed in their fishing boat, and he fell asleep. Well, while he was asleep, what happened? That's right, the storm came. And when the storm came, the disciples were so afraid. They woke Jesus up and said, Lord, Lord, don't you know that there's a storm that's happened? You've got to help us. And what did Jesus do? He stood up and he told the wind to stop. Did the wind and the waves obey God? They did. Why did the Lord let that happen that day? What do you think? Why do you think God allowed the winds and the storm to come up while Jesus was resting? I think that he allowed that to happen so that the disciples would know that this man, Jesus, was truly God's son, and that God was real, that even the winds and the waves obeyed the Son of God. I think the Lord used that situation to teach the disciples to trust in God, to have faith in God, that they can tell God anything, that they can have faith in him and realize that God cares and is listening. If even the winds and waves will stop and obey God, how much more would God love me and know about me and all that I'm going through? That's right. I think that's why this story was in the Bible and why this truly did happen. All right, do you remember our song, The Winds and the Waves and I? Would you like to sing it with me today? I miss your sweet voices. All right, here we go. Ready? Here we go. The winds and the waves and I. And the music this time. Ready? Here we go. Remember this? It's the storm is coming, isn't it? Was peaceful on the Sea of Galilee, and then all of a sudden the wind started. The winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I do what Jesus says to do. The storm howled, the men scowled, their hearts thumped loud as thunder. The boat rocked, their knees knocked, their mouths dropped wide in wonder as they heard Jesus tell the storm to stop. Good job. The winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I do what Jesus says to do. The storm howled, the men scowled, their hearts thumped loud as thunder. The boat rocked, their knees knocked, their mouths dropped wide in wonder as they heard Jesus tell the storm to stop. The winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I, the winds and the waves and I do what Jesus says to do. Do what Jesus says to do. Nice singing, kiddos. I wish I could hear you singing, but my heart is with you. So today, there's no worksheet to accomplish today. Instead, what there is to do is to obey. I know you can do it, and I know your wonderful children obeying the first time your families ask you to do something. Not the second or third time, right? The first time your families ask you. All right, moving on, today in our God's World book, we're going to read a little bit more about the seashore and what kind of shells have they found on our page. Maybe you have a collection of shells at your house, shells that maybe you've collected at our beaches. Turning the page, we're also going to read page 78. So 77 today and 78. On 78, you're going to see many of the different types and varieties of fish that God created. Did you know that when a group of the same kind of fish swim together, it's called a school of fish? That's right. Now, do fish breathe air or do they breathe underwater? That's right, they breathe under the water, and they don't have lungs like we do. They have gills, and that allows them to stay alive. They have to be under the water to be able to stay alive. So go ahead and read your pages. Let's see how many of those words can you read without Mom or Dad's help. I know what excellent readers you are. Do you remember what country we talked about yesterday? It was the country of Italy. That's right. It's shaped, we said, like a boot and like it's kicking a rock. That's right. So Italy is across the Atlantic Ocean from the United States of America. It is not part of the United States of America. It's its own country, way over here. It also is a little green country. Do you see it? So that's where it is on the world. Is it a large country or a smaller one? That's right, it's smaller. Well, in one of the cities in Italy, the city of Venice, they have, instead of roads, they have little waterways called canals. And guess what, boys and girls? One of the things you can do when you go there is get a ride on a flat bottom boat. It kind of has a little point at the front of the boat, and it's called a gondola. It's not powered by a motor or a sail. There's no sail. Instead, there's a person that rows that boat called a gondolier. If you go to the city of Venice in Italy and you decide you want to take a ride on their flat bottom boat, you can hire the gondolier to take you and maybe your family or a friend down the canal and to see what it feels like to go from building to building on a river. How would you like that instead of climbing in your cars? All right, so today on your page, which is page 101, you get to do this dot to dot, coloring neatly the picture of the gondola and the gondolier, the person that rows the boat, and see if you can make your picture beautiful. On the back, you'll see there's some children that are eating lunch. Maybe it's almost time for your lunchtime. They're having Italian food. Guess what? Italian food comes from the country of Italy. So look at what they're eating. Some of the same foods that we like, that's Italian. So there's pizza. This little girl is enjoying pizza. And her friend has a plate of spaghetti. That's right. It says that the Italian children love to play a game that a lot of you like to play. I know a lot of you were in soccer shots, and they too like to play soccer. So boys and girls, that is your page that you can work on today for Italy. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the morning on Wednesday workshop. Maybe Mrs. Webster can get a project ready that we were going to do in workshop and show you tomorrow. Okay? I love you. Have a great afternoon, and work hard and be obedient at home. I know you are. Bye.